It's 100 years since Prince Borghese and 4 other drivers raced 8,000 miles from China to France, and we're with 130 antique cars trying to do it again. Their owners have paid £35,000 each to enter, and the race stops every night like the Tour de France. We're following 5 video diarists. There are the Itala boys. Their car's a load of trouble, but Adam and Jonathan would sooner laugh than cry. The Geordie lads. Joe is a television chef and Bob has a pub. He bought the pub after being banned from it. There are the Aussies. Andrew invited his dad to drive him to Paris, and here they are. There are the 2 fast ladies. Pamela likes the accelerator, Nicola prefers the brake. And there's baby driver, petite Michele from Manhattan. She's with Dan from the Midwest. Michelle's the driver, and that's the way she likes it. And I'm Jack Pizzey, and I'm on the race, trying to understand what's going on. It's rivers again today. We're about 2/3 of the way across Mongolia, and my all-British 4-wheel drive hasn't missed a beat. We expected the Gobi Desert to be hard, but in fact, all of Mongolia is hard. Today is proving to be quite a day. We've actually ended up here at this ford with plenty of trouble, but out in the desert back there we have run across any number of people in trouble, and with our miraculous Land Rover, even though the rally organizer cursed it and said it wouldn't make it, we've been rescuing people all over the place. So we'll go back and have a look at that, and then we'll come to this and see how people make out crossing the river. It's just getting really hot when we see someone trudging out of the desert. He says his car is stuck in soft sand. Prince Borghese got stuck in a hole 100 years ago. Now it's the turn of Nicky and Margaret. Our Land Rover's winch can handle this. I've discovered that Margaret is new to rallying. You haven't done a rally before. Do you think you'll do one again?
I'm certain I will.
Oh.
Certain I will.
What's the good thing about it?
Just the challenge. Absolute challenge, yeah, and the camaraderie of working with your teammate. No, truly it's a challenge. It's a marvellous challenge. It's amazing countryside.
Travelling on an adventure like this together, what does it do for a relationship, would you say?
I don't know, when I haven't one.
Are you saying you're not an item?
No.
No. So much as everybody's assumption that
yes.
people are items when they see boy-girl together. But,
no, we've been friends for a while now.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's a good driver.
She's a good navigator.
Great. Thanks,
this
folks.
Just don't like sand.
The King of Malaysia is on the race in a 1940 Chevrolet known as the Custard Tart. Well, Your Highness, how are we doing?
Oh, yeah, we're going to stand. Okay.
There go the Geordie lads, and here comes the King of Malaysia again. Uh-oh, they're not going to make it.
Oh, it's time.
What happened there?
Some of the Elvis cars broke down, we tried to help. And then these cars gained lost power, everything.
They nearly made it.
Yeah, make it slowly.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
See you.
Now it's the Aussies in their all-Australian Holden. It's the Irish pair that we winched out of a hole earlier, about to tackle the crossing now. The car is a 1926 3-litre Bentley. Is it going to be good in the water? No, it isn't. This Bentley has an open flywheel, which has been throwing water up onto the engine. That's twice they've had to be rescued today. Looks like a case of another fine mess you've got me into. Is it anyone's fault? Margaret keeps stum.
Flywheel. Flywheel flings water in all directions.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody's fault. Mr. Bentley's fault.
Sorry?
Mr. Bentley's fault.
Absolutely, gonna kill him when I see him. Yeah.
1,000 miles to the north, in Russia, it's National Day. Everyone's on holiday, except that is for a team of local mechanics who have finally fixed the Itala boys' car. Remember the Itala boys? They've transplanted an engine from an old Volga car.
Slava, we're just about finished now the car, and we've just started the car. How do you feel about that?
Слава, мы почти закончили машину. Как твои ощущения? Что ты по этому поводу скажешь?
Я хочу сказать, что думаю, что все получилось удачно, что доедет до конечной точки, которую люди избрали. И ничего, никаких поломок не будет.
He thinks that everything goes successfully, and he's sure 100% that you will reach the final destination, no doubts.
We are very grateful. This must be the only car built in 1907 with a Russian engine in it, built in 1994.
The Itala boys are so delighted, they want all the victorious mechanics to be recognized.
Yeah, Alexei. Name's Alexei.
Alexei.
Michele.
Michele. Slav. Dima. Andy. Andrei.
Sergei.
Meanwhile, 1,000 miles to the south, the rest of the Peking to Paris races have been in tents overnight.
It's another day in Mongolia and things are looking pretty rough. There are cars left behind all over the country, it seems. We've heard about one little Morgan that was abandoned 2 days ago and has been left somewhere out in the desert with its owner making urgent phone calls that he's running out of water and when is somebody going to come and get him.
Bob and Margaret are enjoying Mongolia's beautifully clean air. They're out of trouble for the moment. But there's pressure on the organisers because many drivers have fallen behind.
Well, all the ones who are here are happy, but the ones back there on trucks, they're not. My satellite phone has just collapsed again because they're just phoning all the time. That they don't understand it's such a vast country that the flatbed trucks take 8-9 hours to get to them. They think it's going to be an hour, so obviously they're getting upset. Then they're ringing their secretaries and wives in England who are ringing our English office, ordering our English secretary to get a truck out in Mongolia. It's a nightmare. I don't think all of the cars really understood what they were letting themselves in for, really.
You're buggered. We're buggered. Yeah. Bewitched. We did everything we could with the electrics. They were going superbly. I mean, we had so much help from everyone here. I mean, mainly the competitors. The spirit of camaraderie on this rally is just fantastic. It's humbling. And the knowledge that's contained in the heads and of the other the people who've done all this before, especially. And we're rank amateurs. We don't have the skills, the mechanical skills that they've got. Anyway, they fettled the car. We had new batteries, we had new coil, we had new regulator. We did the fastest lap of the paddock, going superbly. And everyone had gone. We were the last to leave. Halfway out of the paddock, the whole thing went back to where we started. No electrics at all. We will fly down to UB this morning and then fly home. And then I might come out in a 4x4 or something and join you in Latvia. They say the girls are quite pretty.
4x4. See you in Latvia.
Okay.
Well, it's obviously sad to see someone go home, but there's still 50-odd people here who are in for a gold medal. And the roads have been incredible, the worst I've ever seen. and the hardest, toughest thing we've ever put on, and the first rally to cross Mongolia was never going to be easy. And we never said it was going to be easy, and Prince Borghese looking down on us would hope that his 100th birthday would be.
And how many are still going, do you think?
Around 100.
And have you got people out there behind us who you're worried about?
I'm worried about all of them. I'm the wing commander that counts them out and counts them in each day. As he said, there's a fantastic spirit here and tremendous willpower to lift things on the backs of people who can fettle and work all through the night and just keep going. But we're all feeling extremely tired. And the Russian border is never going to be so welcome, except that I do worry about the Russian roads.
We've been asked, instead of streaming ahead of the field, as we normally do with this machine, to follow up the field and become what they call sweepers. In other words, helping to deal with people who have fallen behind in trouble. So that's our mission for today.
It isn't going to be long before we come across someone in trouble, and it's Margaret and Nicky, another fine mess they've got into.
Apparently our diff is gone, so it's not drivable, not towable, and we need a truck. But there's lots of trucks picking up other cars, and we could be here for quite some time.
Hence the tent.
Hence the tent.
Very warm here.
No, it's not terribly warm, but what can one do except put the brave face on and try and cope as best possible?
They face a dilemma: abandon the car and come with us, or stay here with the car till a spare part can be flown in.
We can fly in parts overnight, but you get an accident, you're talking weeks.
Yeah.
So that's my...
Some consideration has to be given to the fact that there's got to be some time for a truck to get here.
Yes, yeah.
How long are you prepared to hike out here?
As long as it takes, I don't know. I mean,
be realistic.
Realistically, 48 hours.
Give me an answer.
48 hours.
Yeah.
Maximum.
I'm not so keen to do 48 hours sitting in the middle of nowhere, thanks very much.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it's not the ideal situation at all.
Right, what are you thinking? What's going through your mind?
As I said, I'm not keen to camp out here for 1 hour, let alone 48 hours. So, I mean, it's pleasant-ish now, but my understanding will be that it'll get very cold this evening. And yes, we have provisions, but, you know, I think it's going to be some time. I think we're going to be sitting here for quite a while.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. For me personally, I'd take a chance and I'd tow it, or I'd leave it. Go to town, get somebody to come back out, rather than sitting here waiting for somebody else to do something for me. That'd be my view. No, I don't disagree. It is his car. I don't get to make the final decision. I'm the invited guest. No difficulty with that, but I think that, you know, common sense should prevail. And I think stuck out here in a tent, waiting for somebody else to do something for you, isn't necessarily the wisest decision, particularly when it's not on a beach in the south of France and it's up in a mountain in Mongolia.
So Nicky stands by his car while Margaret comes with us.
What are your thoughts at the moment?
I suppose truly undecided. I'm not sure if I'm disappointed or... Well, I was clearly disappointed, but I haven't really even got around to being disappointed in my head, just not knowing, you know, that you're going to have to go in a truck to Russia and maybe beyond because you don't have enough lay days to catch up and missing what everybody else is experiencing. And I think that's unfortunate.
Are you worried about Nicky back there?
No.
Not at all?
No. He's resourceful. People should be resourceful. So, no, not worried about it. We'll get back. I'll get back there tonight. I'm positive I'm going to get a truck and get back there tonight. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. And
how are you going to do that?
Because I'm going to go and find somebody that has a truck and convince him that he needs to go 200 clicks in that direction to pick it up.
So our mission now is to find a truck in this big, barren land. We do come across a truck. Our producer John negotiates using sketch maps and sign language. On the way back to Nicky and his Bentley, we've picked up another stranded car. Just 100 yards to go now to where the Bentley is waiting.
That's over now.
Before sunset, we camp near the frontier with Russia. People are licking their wounds.
Today was the most difficult day by far. It was a really, really tough day. 430 kilometers. I've been driving for 10 hours. We just got in. And no tarmac, all road, and the roads were terrible. A lot of the roads were washboard, so it was just up and down, up and down. Toward the end of the day, I just was exhausted and felt like I was going to pass out.
It's very lucky to find one of those.
This is Mr. Young's
idea of a good lunch. The pack lunch. Mr. Young's idea of a pack lunch.
The only useful part of Philip Young's are his bones, that have been devoured. The body's been devoured by most of the remaining competitors in this rally.
His head's been buried in the sand.
The head is buried in the sand. To do a route survey in a comfortable 4x4 on a route designed for classics is really rather arrogant. These cars are well prepared and they're all breaking up. He goes past us at 60 miles an hour in his Toyota, which is fine, and we're picking out the best route at 10 miles an hour and still arriving very late. And every night when we camp, there's absolutely no indication. Some of the GPS readings are wrong, as they were last night, so we're stumbling around in the dark, going into ditches, having to find there's a river between us and the campsite, and then we have to camp. And there's no appreciation of just how hard it is for old men in old cars.
Seems to have been a tough day. What do you think?
Hard. Probably the hardest day so far, but we're all feeling the effects, wear and tear.
What's the state? How many cars are not with us or not likely to catch up, or what do you think?
Well, there's 3 that are in difficulty today with our mechanics now working on top of the others that are walking wounded. So there's probably 10 or 12 in real difficulty. Questionable whether they're going to get out of the country with the rally. And over 100 limping along and all going really well. So
is that better or worse than you expected?
Well, we want 90 in Paris is the gamble, and we're on target.
Next morning, the truck has arrived. It drove through the night with Margaret and Nicky.
We all got into the cab with the driver, his wife and the baby. We all snuggled up in the cab to keep ourselves warm for this 5-6 hour journey to here.
So yeah, we came in at 1:45 this morning and we slept in our car because it was really rocky. You couldn't even attempt to bang in any pegs on your tent.
-10 last night. Damn cold, eh?
Pretty cold. -10?
Yeah, there's ice inside the tent.
Yeah. What are we all doing here, Philip?
Beats the M25, doesn't it?
Bob and I are jumping to get warm, and Mick has found another way.
Already had a cuddle from one of the girl crews and a few tears, the ones that broke down yesterday from car 118. But right outside the toilet she borrowed some dunny paper from me and I gave her that and we stood there and I said, "How are you?" She said, "Oh, give me a cuddle, please."
What a dear. Get me out of here.
Just one question. Why aren't you unhappy?
Because it's a negative point of view on life.
Look, what about this guy? He brought you on this trip. What are you going to say to him about this?
Oh, Christ, I don't know. At least he's a bloody good navigator. And we had no trouble yesterday going up that bloody hill from that godforsaken city, whatever it was.
It's not a rally, it's an ordeal. I can't believe it. It's a destruction testing of men and cars.
Everybody loves it. What's the matter with us? We're freezing cold, the cars are broken, and we're all laughing. Now, what is this?
And we're here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, I was just in there for breakfast, and people say, how bad is it when we're saying, I'm looking forward to going to Siberia? But I think it's great.
And next, we're going to discover that Siberia is not at all what we're expecting.